Do you have these 3 character traits for business and real estate success?
Let's find out what they are and if you have them today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
You've reached the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. This is episode 234. You can find all of our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien getting back into a little more of the mindset, a little more about, the foundational background, your thoughts, what makes you tick.
Yeah, because if you're not clear, if you're having a little bit of issues with like, how's my business going? I think you have to get back to the basics when it comes to what's going on up here. 90% of it is all like the way you approach things. And there are people struggling. The market is weird. It's ever changing. And I thought, hey, why don't we just focus on some good core content that we've had? I wanted to talk about mindset, and it came upon something that we wrote quite a while ago, like 5 years ago, or taking it from other places. But to what we're going to cover today are the 3 key traits, if you will, characteristics that we really believe, and this is our opinion, okay? This is our opinion from watching and seeing, what makes people successful in business, and I really want to say in sales, okay? So do you have these traits? Let's talk about what it is. So can we just talk about this quote, Matt?
Sure.
What is this? So Carol Burnett, only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. That is the basis of what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, it starts with us, right? We get to decide how we're going to feel every day and what we're going to do. It's not all the other things outside of ourselves. And so today can be the day that you just decide, I'm going to get out of that yuck mindset I might be in, and I'm going to take charge of my life. What does that mean to you?
You know what's funny? And I think even if you feel as though you have a pretty good grasp on this, I really consider myself a really optimistic person, and I always look for the, it's always the glass is always half full for me. But it's funny sometimes.
And you got the T-shirt that says
I do have the T-shirt on today too. But if you sometimes when things either in your life or external things start going wrong, or things are just kind of negative in the environment around you,
or the news cycle, or the world,
it can kind of start to seep in. Because I found myself a couple times over the last week, kind of stressing about things I wouldn't normally stress about, and thankfully, I do find myself very aware of what's going on in my head. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This isn't you. And if you can focus on it, you can quickly shift it back around once you understand how you actually do that. So if you have those
things that are outside of our control. So what can we change? Just us and what we do and our attitude in our life, right? So I love that quote. That's a great way to start the day. And this is what we wanted to share. So we know from our experience, 30 plus years or so of being in this real estate sales driven world, that the most successful real estate professionals, and I wonder if you agree with this, Matt, are driven. They are all driven.
Yep.
They are success oriented. They're definitely risk takers, because if you are a risk taker, if you're a commission-based salesperson, and they have the entrepreneurial spirit, and this is why a lot of people don't make it. They're not necessarily risk takers. They want the security, but they want the freedom. So many people get into real estate business. This will never change, in my opinion. And I really get the sense of this renewed because I teach, once a month, I teach a pre-licensing class, 1 week on finance and appraisal. And I always talk to the students and I want to know, why are you getting into the business? And nothing ever changes. It's the key things. I want freedom. I want to control my destiny. And then I intersperse my little coaching wisdom here while I'm teaching them what they have to do to pass the test, and say, you got to have these characteristics. And this is part of what was inspiring me to say we need to go back to talking about, the key things that drive successful people. So they have that, but then we found through the years that they share these 3 characteristics that we're going to talk about today. And it starts with me. For me, it's always this one: a great work ethic. And by that, I mean they show up and they work their plan. They also have unwavering perseverance. And it's just mental toughness comes into that as well. They don't quit. They persevere because that's why they're driven. And they definitely have a positive make it happen mindset. So those three things: work ethic, perseverance, and a positive mindset. And so we're going to break them down today and go into details of what we mean and what can you do to really focus on that and pull that into your life if you need to again, if you need to reconnect. So number one, work ethic really means diligence, hard work, and self-discipline. Self-discipline being the key here. Yep. I think you either have a work ethic or you don't. I think this is one of these, we're talking about traits that you may have just normally in the way you are wired. Doesn't mean you can't work on it. But I think the people that naturally have a work ethic, and you know why I like to make this one number one, because I don't know, Matt, in all of your years of looking and watching and being in real estate and the different levels that we've served, why I say this is because there are a lot of people that get in the business and just want to have it all happen for them without having to put any kind of effort into it. And work ethic means, and the hard part for people that are leaving a employee mindset where they've always worked for someone who told them what to do and this is how much money you make, have to make the shift. If they're not already entrepreneurial thinkers, naturally they have to get this discipline of, I have to get myself up and I have to go do something every day or else I'm not going to earn a paycheck. Okay. Like I can't just show up and collect a check at the end. You have to literally go do some work. And that's why a lot of people don't make it. Okay. So you have to get up. You got to do that morning ritual, whatever it's going to be to get you in the right mind frame, the mindset to take on the day. And suit up by meaning you don't have to put on a suit necessarily, but you literally do need to get into the mindset of being a salesperson, get out of the sweats, working from home. And I think that makes a difference. You and I were talking about that one time. Like what do you do?
At the very least, put on your shoes.
Put on your shoes and then get to work. Now, get to work might be you're doing some things remotely for a little while, but to do sales in real estate, you got to get out in front of people. So that has to happen. And then you must have a definitive plan of action for you, and you got to work it consistently, at least 5 days a week. Otherwise, whatever you put in is what you get out. It's the bottom line. Yeah, and a lot of people don't put enough in. So therefore, nothing comes out, and they're wondering, why don't I have any escrows? Why don't I have anybody in the pipeline?
As I was putting this presentation together, when I was, doing this slide, I was thinking to myself, you know what? We started WBNL coaching in 2015. I have been working from home for 7.5 years.
You'll never go take another job in a
there's
office.
That, right? Because that is extremely freeing, but there is discipline that has to go along with that, because there was a time years ago I thought I could never work from home. I'd be watching TV all day long, but no, I mean, you really have to do that. And real estate's the same thing. I mean, you're basically working from home all the time anyway, too, especially now. Before it wasn't quite that way. You have a little bit more responsibility. I mean, if you are connected, to an office and and other agents and stuff too, but it takes that discipline and drive, definitely.
And honestly, through COVID has created, not just in real estate, we always sort of had this remote work from home mindset. And then it made it so we were talking to Dave Tina Jr. about it in our last episode about how hard it is to get people back into the office after COVID. It was already hard before COVID, but there is something about getting out and getting around people again. And whether you're listening and you're in real estate or not, I mean, there is something about that. And I think that's part of it too. But the point you were making too is that even if you're working from home today because you don't have an appointment, there is this bit of getting up, getting yourself into the mindset and creating that space in your home. So, that's work time and not play time, right? So that's all part of the self-discipline as well. So work ethic means also, so to be able to have that definitive plan means, why don't you actually have a written business plan and goals? We talk about it all the time. All successful business owners definitely have a business plan of some sort. They're clear and specific about their goals. They do track their results, their expenditures, their return on investment. They know what's working and what's not working because maybe they do a quarterly review, which is great as we're recording this now and it will get posted. We're past the end of the first quarter of the year. And so what a great time to look and see what happened in the first quarter of the year and make the appropriate adjustments. What's working for you, what's not working. If you've actually put the effort in or not. So let it go if you didn't. Don't dwell on it and just go, today's the day. you're hearing this now. Today's the day I actually get focused again and focus on the next quarter.
You know what?
Not necessarily go like the whole year. Just focus on the next 90 days.
But it is so interesting that we talk about this whole how you need to analyze, stop, and look at your business, and make any course corrections if you have to, right? Mm-hmm. A quarter. There's 4 quarters in a year. Okay, all right. There's 12 weeks in a quarter. The first week of Q2 is already gone.
That's right.
So do you know how fast that a quarter actually goes by? And if you're like, oh, I'll get to it. Well, no, you probably won't get to it. So you do have to make that commitment to just sit down and take an hour, take a half hour, and look at it.
Track what you say you're going to do, because you can't improve if you don't measure it. And that's all what you can do in that review. All right. So hey, by the way, Matt, do we have written business planning goals that our great listeners, if aren't already aware of it, can get for absolutely free?
As a matter of fact, we do. If you go to WBNLcoaching.com, we have a free course called Agent Fundamentals. And right in there is a whole module on business planning. So go grab that. I think we have, there's several hundreds of agents have actually downloaded that business plan. So it's all there for the team.
And even if we're in second quarter of this year, it's never too late to do a business plan. So it's all good. Go back and get refocused if you haven't.
There you go.
So then you have to be intentional and very specific with your actions. So a couple little pointers here. The ordinary tasks that you do every day, like getting up and following up with your clients or going and doing something that's going to generate some face-to-face contact, if you consistently do that and they're just ordinary tasks that are required in the sales field, then it can become extraordinary. I was talking to the students that I had yesterday, and I was because a broker came in and did a pitch for recruiting, and it just got me inspired to think about how one of the things he said was, you just have to do the basics. The basics always work. And I 100% agree with that. If you just get up and do something, like, let's just say open houses. Yeah. So let's say that you don't want to, because one of the students was like, I don't want to have to knock on doors. And he kind of took them down a path of like, what if we could show you a way that you're getting a mindset of knocking on somebody's door that you wouldn't want anybody knocking on your door. But what if we can show you a way that there's a reason to knock on a door, like, for example, holding an open house, and you're inviting, and then the student was like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem as hard now. Yeah. But the point I'm making is you could just become an open house person right now. There's people out looking for houses. We always talk about this one because it doesn't cost anything.
Right.
It costs your time. And if you're going to do it right, if you're going to do a high impact open house, but you could consistently do that every week, a couple times. And that could be all you need for success. Nothing else, just everything that goes with setting up, conducting, and following up from open houses. That could be your thing. Why not? We could just name anything. All right.
Exactly.
So the deal here is, remember, they say 30 to 60 days of consistently doing something, you start to create a habit change. 1 year of doing this new habit, whether this making daily calls, holding 2 open houses, getting up and working out, or taking a walk, then you can have a lifestyle change. So, but it starts with just the next 30 to 60 days, you're going to do X. And if you do it consistently and you start seeing results, whether it's for you personally or for your business, that's all it takes sometimes. It doesn't have to be hard. So create a daily activity plan and stick to it. Time block. It's always about time blocking. I've talked about, like, I have things in like 3 or 4 categories, right? It's if you have client appointments, those are obviously those are important, but you don't have client appointments every single day. But every day, even if you do have client appointments, you need to have follow-up time. You have to have, what am I doing to generate new business time, lead generation time. Mm-hmm. And then you have to have some admin time to handle your escrows and your follow-up that are not related to calling people or checking in with them or texting them. But do that with time blocks. So you have to know how many calls or contacts or emails or mailers that you're going to need to do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis so you can hit your goals, right? And I do think about, find ways to challenge yourself, right? Maybe it's like your day's not done until you make 1 new contact. Do something that sets you up for success. Right. I'm going to go hand out 5. I'm not done today until I hand out 5 business cards. That could be another one, for example. And then I'm talking about break it down into, and set, you might have annual goals, but do it in bite-sized pieces. We're just talking about it. What is your next 30-day or 90-day goal? Like the whole thing I did with 9 and 90 days, how I started out the year, that so motivated me. And as I'm sitting here speaking, I can see that I actually erased it because it's already happened, and set a new one, right? Because we did 9 transactions in 60 days. But I set the goal. It's kind of weird. It's like I just set the goal and I looked at it every day. But then here's the deal. I didn't just sit here and go, let's let it all happen.
Yeah, because that's not the way that works.
Activities, and then activities gets more activities. And that's what I was telling those students is like, go out and do something and set the intention and get out and do the activity brings other business to you. So if you were to go out and, whatever, hold an open house this week and then another one, just the activity of you doing that, all of a sudden somebody calls you and wants you to help them because you're telling the universe, I'm setting my intention that I want to attract some business. And right now I'm taking action at an open house. Sure, you're going to get some business from an open house. You're going to meet people, but you're also going to get business from gosh knows where because you're taking action. I see that happen again and again for me and for anybody I've ever coached. So there it is.
Speaking of open houses, just as a little aside story, my wife and I were driving around here in Anaheim Hills the other day, and there was a house in Anaheim Hills that was a vacant house. That when I first got my real estate license, I used to set that house open all the time, like 2 or 3 days a week.
That specific house?
Huh?
That specific house, you mean?
Yeah, that specific house, and I loved that house because it was not it needed some help at the time, but it was a beautiful house in a great neighborhood. It was a great house to hold open because the location was fantastic, easy to sign in, all that stuff, yada yada yada. I set that house open forever because it didn't sell for a long time. It was bank owned at the time, and I got a ton of clients out of it. Long story short, we're driving by that the other day. It's for sale, and someone's holding an open house this weekend. And if you don't think I'm not going to that open house, you are crazy. I can't wait to go to that open house. First of all, I can't see what's happening. So I'm looking forward to seeing
absolutely see if it's changed what they've done.
But I'm looking forward to chatting with that realtor a little bit to say, just a little bit about open houses and see what kind of open house they did. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be
hand out the little, like if you need some little real estate training and coaching.
Exactly.
Come on, that's a good idea, man. All right, I love it. Wow, go back to your open house roots.
It was weird.
Love it. So work ethic is the number one key characteristic, I believe, of success in real estate and business overall. And those are some ideas to help you with. So that brings us to number 2, which is perseverance, which we're defining as consistent, committed, and patient effort.
The key word,
right?
Patient.
Because I love this. I don't know where I got this, but I loved it. Perseverance leads to maturity, which leads to confidence, which leads to results, which leads to high self-esteem.
Wow.
And people who persevere make no provision for anything but success. And so perseverance to me comes with this idea of mental toughness. And mental toughness fits into this one for me. If you do any kind of studying on sports or business, people that are successful, sports is a great example.
It is.
I think mental toughness is almost more important than skill set.
Yep.
Somebody can have the best skill set, but if they're not mentally tough, if things can get them down and they change their performance, then they're not the superstar. Yep. So mental toughness is dealing with the setbacks. It's getting back up on that proverbial horse, and when it kicks you off, it's not quitting. Right?
It's no distractions.
Yeah, and the patient effort is important because a lot of us aren't patient. So you may not see the results right away, but you have to keep persevering. So accountability we throw into this as well, because if you're not holding yourself accountable, if you find ways to help whatever's going to work for you, then maybe you need to get some help. So get an accountability partner, hire a coach, ask for help, get somebody else to help you. That's a friend or, a coworker. You could take charge and form a mastermind or accountability group. I can think of folks that have had some successful small groups that they continue to hold each other accountable. Just figure out what's going to work for you if you can't do it alone. If you need a little help, just ask for some help. That's the key. All right, it's for accountability.
Oops. You were done.
I just paused there. I like this too. Great salespeople figure it out. Boy, I can't agree more. I always feel, and I say all the time, whenever there's any conflict that comes up in a transaction or dealing with another agent, if you step outside of it and not get all emotional, there's always more than one way to resolve any problem. find a way to win-win. And I'm having fun with that now in real estate. And I really make it a very intentional thing when I connect with other agents, because we're doing a lot of buyers right now, and I'll connect with the other agents and I'll just introduce myself and I'll just get them to talk to me, and I'll start building some rapport right away in the beginning, and then get them to talk about themselves and talk about, it's going to be exciting to work together. Two professionals working together to have a win-win, like 4 wins in there for both of us and both of our sets of clients. And I just think that that's the key to it. And perseverance is part of that. Like, you're not giving up on the problems that come up. You're solving them, and you're staying calm about it, and you're being patient with everybody. Even if someone else is getting crazy and upset, you can change the whole atmosphere in a conversation by just bringing it down and not matching their level of, whatever, anger or whatever you want to say. Okay. So I love this one. Perseverance is just, you don't quit. So no quit attitude. And that brings us to our favorite, which is having a positive mindset. I know that gets overused, but honestly, Matt, I half empty, half full, like your deal there. And it is a process, not an event. It's not like you're just like, I'm positive today. It's always a process. There's days, Matt is one of the most optimistic and positive people, but is he 100% that way all the time? Is Jan, am I that way? No. However, if you can see that you're in some space, maybe let yourself deal with whatever's going on for you, but then you know how to get yourself out of it is the key here, right?
Sure is, absolutely.
I prefer to be in a more positive frame of mind than going down a rabbit hole of negativity and then attracting more negativity. And sometimes we do that until we get to a place of like, I'm freaking done with this. Get off.
You and I just realized, not just you and I, but you realize that when you are like this, that positivity equals productivity. So that's just the way it works.
It does.
Yeah.
So personal responsibility is a buzzword and a key thing for me. And it's like one of those things where it's like, it's not that it bothers me. What I mean is that I recognize when there's folks finding excuses and they don't take personal responsibility for their own action. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by this is, and for me too, it's always about how I'm responsible for exactly the situation I'm in right now, how I'm feeling about it, what my mindset is, what my bank account looks like. And it's everything I've done up to this point has gotten me where I am right now. That's what I mean by personal responsibility. All my thoughts, my actions have put me here now. I'm happy with where I'm here, what I'm doing, and what I'm here now. And there's things that I want to get handled and resolved, and I have to persevere, right? And I have to take that action and keep doing what I'm doing to get there. So if you or me or anyone is not pleased with where you're at, then it's about what we started out today. Only I can change my life. Someone's not going to do it for me. And there's a lot of folks that go, well, if I just could win the lottery, or if I just had more money or some other thing, then I would be happy. Or if I had a relationship, or if I had this. And then the reality is that's not true, really. It never does work out. If you're not already that way inside, it's just going to be a Band-Aid for a second. And maybe it feels good that you just won some money in the California lottery or whatever. We don't really have the lottery here. Or you hit a big jackpot or something. You went out there and you hit what's that thing called in the casinos? The where you win $1 million. I forget what it's called. Anyway, you know what I mean? It's like always, whatever. It's like there's always one of those one things.
What is that called?
Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do.
Like literally, it's gone out of my head. But anyway, everybody tries to chase the mega bucks or something.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Maybe something like that. I don't even know. But you get it.
Shows you how much we gamble.
Exactly. Mega something. So anyway, so the key here is awareness, right? It's about awareness, and it's the check in with yourself often. It's a cue for me, because I'm into numerology, and if I ever see double or triple numbers, it's a thing for me to do a check-in. Like if I'm driving and I'll see 111 or something, ones for me mean, because one of the things that is a cue for me is like, well, what am I thinking about right now? And is it positive or negative?
Yeah.
It's like, am I dwelling on some negative stuff, or am I being positive? If it's negative, here's what I do. I just go, wow, I just caught myself in this whole negative loop. I'm going to stop that now and pivot and do something that's going to help me get out of that, space of negativity. And it can be something simple. For me, it could be music.
Yeah.
It could be taking a walk. I always get inspired when I see the views around here, the mountains, or we have a great sunset or sunrise or something to that effect. That is how you can shift your energy, right? And get out of the funk. But what are you thinking about today? Like right now, what are your thoughts? It's just like, if you have this awareness, then you can keep on moving yourself back and focus on what you want, as opposed to not dwelling on something negative. You know, I don't want to be out of shape, or this, or, you know, like focused on, I feel like I'm overweight, or whatever the negative thing is, or I don't have enough money. The idea is to focus on what's the activity that's going to be the positive action that's going to help you be in a positive state and ultimately get the result you want, right?
Yeah, what's gonna get you there. Absolutely.
So be intentional in your thoughts and action, and it's just a powerful thing. So every day, every one of us gets up. We have a choice about how we're going to be today, how we're going to show up in the world, what our attitude is, the words that come out of our mouth.
Mhm.
It's a choice I have every day. Matt has every day, and you, dear listener and viewer, has every day and every moment. So every day, be prepared to play and win, if that's what your goal is. Win for whatever win means to you. Just work on always being the best you, and the best you may not be the same best as it was yesterday, but it's the best for today, and that's good enough, right? I believe that we're all role models, especially if you are around anybody that's influenced by you in your work. Like, I look at it like I'm the senior statesman in the real estate world now, and people are wondering, you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Or if you have kids around you, you know, you are a role model. So deliver excellence always, right? Just come from that place, the best that you can be today. And I think it brings us to this last thing we're going to talk about. What can really help your business is when you really are focused on your clients and not the money. And it's so interesting, Matt. I've had a couple recent clients say this to me. I mean, just some positive comments that lead to this is where they're coming from, to say, it's so refreshing to work with you and Cosmo, because you guys are just really, they feel like the clients are saying things like, you put us first. Mm-hmm. You're not just trying. And I've had another client the other day say, wow, the last agent that we work with did not even, I mean, probably like 3 times this week, 3 different people have said, we've had an experience where people wouldn't go the extra mile. They were like, buy this house or that's it.
Yeah.
Or I don't have time to work with you. And look at you as a transaction, not a person. People can pick that up, even if it just through your actions, not even the words that you're saying. So you have to take care of your clients' needs first. We've got a situation where, hey, we might have to walk away from a transaction because they worked with someone else. I was like to the client, I'm like, you need to stop stressing about this. You let us worry about that. We're going to help you get this deal, you know, closed, and you've had enough stress going on in your life. Just let that go. We'll handle it. And even if it means that we have to do something because of someone, you know, working with another agent, for example, you do the right thing, because everything comes back tenfold when you do that.
That's right.
Always work in the client's best interest. Sometimes you have to say, I don't think it's the right time for you to sell, or I don't think you should go ahead and buy this house because of this. It's all good. That's all good stuff. But there's people who come from fear of, I need this commission. And in the biz here, we call that commission breath, right? And commission breath is not nice.
Not a good look.
It doesn't smell good or look good. And people can sense that you're just all about the transaction. This is a transactional relationship, not a real people relationship. Right. But when you do this and you come from this place, this is where your referral business grows. This is where the people are like your raving fans. And, you know, that's just how you have to be. Clients first. And it comes back in many ways. And even if you have to cut somebody loose, or somebody goes away, or, you know, you tell them not to do the deal, or they decide to wait, you're like, you did the right thing. And then business comes from someplace else. I'm experiencing that now, and I'm a true believer in it. You know, and I wanted to end today, Matt, with honesty, integrity, and professionalism are a given. That's why you didn't hear those in the key characteristics for success, because that has to be the bottom line. It's non-negotiable. You've got those already. So those aren't the keys to success. Those are, if you don't have those, forget it. That's why we focused on work ethic, perseverance, and mindset today. Positive mindset. All right.
Good stuff.
There it is.
And don't forget, everyone, we're always here to help you. And we have a lot of different ways you can get a hold of us to get more information, more tips, everything. We are all over YouTube. You can go to YouTube and just type in WBNL Coaching and we'll come up there. Go to our website. We have a contact form on there. If you have any questions ever, we have a place on our site that's called Ask Us Anything. You can go on there, fill out a form, and we will get back to you with the answer. We prefer it if you made it real estate related or mindset related, but come on. Ask us anything.
We'll give it our best shot.
Exactly. Because we are here for you. And that's what, when Jan and I started WBNL Coaching, was all about providing services and providing, something that's going to connect with agents, because we always have felt when we are working in bigger brokerages or any brokerages that often the agent is the person that gets lost in the shuffle, which, kind of counterintuitive, I would think, for a lot of these brokerages. So anyway, we're here for you guys. Absolutely. Hey, Jen O'Brien, it's funny. I was thinking about, just talking about mindset. I've really been working on a lot of personal stuff. Like, I have a weird sleep pattern because I have to get up in the middle of the night to give our cat an insulin shot because it's diabetic. So I have a weird sleep. So, there's like an hour in the middle of the night that I'm up every single night. It's not.
Is it about 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way?
Yeah. You can't just say, not going to do that shot today. That's just not the way it works. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I found it that I was sleeping so bizarrely, that I just was always feeling tired. Yeah. So I really started focusing on sleep, and it's weird. I'm a little bit addicted to my Apple Watch, probably too much so, but you can get so much information from your watch now. I bought a new watch, the newest version. I had the first version of the Apple Watch for way too many years.
Yeah. So
I have the new version, and it really can help you kind of just track your body,
really?
So I was watching how I was sleeping, and it shows, I'm sure it's just by your pulse and your breathing, how much core sleep you get, how much REM sleep you get, and how much deep sleep you get. And so I was really watching that and how much I was awake. Like, you get up and use the facilities, or you just wake up for a little bit. Fascinating to watch that. So I purposely started making myself lay down to go to sleep earlier in the evening, so I would fall asleep earlier, and not because I always have been kind of a night owl, so that was a little bit difficult, but making me have that extra hour or so on the front end and then to get up already helped. And then when I went back to bed, I found myself getting on my device, looking around a little bit, and you can't do that. You cannot do that. So I have a whole routine that I do when I get back in bed that gets me to go to sleep within the first few minutes after going back. So I'm now finally getting, 7.5 hours of sleep. It's not straight through, but at least I'm getting that much sleep. It has changed the way
I feel better.
Huh?
Completely. I mean, ultimately, you can tell. You know what? You're going to have to give me a little more coaching on this because I need this.
Well, I think it's different for everybody. I have a weird process. I go, and I'll just tell you what it is. When I go back to bed, I actually literally lay in bed and I plan my day. And I know that doesn't sound like a peaceful thing to be doing, but I think, you know what? Tomorrow when I wake up, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this at the blah, 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 blah. I have the whole day planned. Like, I'm going to walk here. Right? I'm going to do this. And as I'm going through that, I don't know, maybe it's because there's so much always stuff you have planned. I don't know what it is, but it always makes me fall asleep. It is the weirdest thing. And I think also it's just the consistency of doing the same thing over and over. That's what you're doing now.
The key is to get off. Like, for me, it's bad. It's like, if I do wake up, I will get back on my phone or something, or turn the TV on.
Right. So it's weird.
It ends up falling asleep, but it's not restful sleep.
So when I wake up in the morning, I'm pretty fresh in my head. I know what my day is going to be. I say these words out loud every morning. This is going to be a great day.
Nice.
I just say that every day. And I smile. Sometimes
there it is. You set the intention for the day.
Yeah. Sometimes later in the afternoon, I'll say, this was a great day. Or, you know what? This day was kind of a crap, but tomorrow's going to be a great day.
But you dealt with whatever came your way, and you did it.
Now, in my big self-awareness thing, I'm working on my breathing because I don't think that I really am not taking deep enough. I'm not deep breathing really enough. So I'm working on that.
I'm already feeling better. Thank you, Matt.
Very interesting how you can, if you focus on your personal well-being, can really change the way you feel. So,
amen. All right.
A couple more little pieces of.
Well, there you go, everybody. Forever.
Yeah, exactly. And also, always have your glass half full.
Be forever wandering.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that. You can find all the show notes, though, over at WBNLpodcast.com. This is episode 234. And just one more thing. We are working on a certification program for our real estate sales builder program. If you'd like to
really are.
Yeah, we really are. I promise. I know we talk about it a lot, but we really are. If you'd like more information on that certification program, go over to WBLcoaching.com and we have a form you can fill out. You'll be the first to be notified when we actually launch the program. We're going to have special pricing for people that fill out the form, and it'll push you to a landing page on our site that gives you a ton of information about Sales Builder and just, some testimonials of people that have gone through the program and whatnot, and all that other good stuff. So, all right, enough of all that. Jen O'Brien, anything else?
No, I'm planning to get up and get out this weekend, though.
Good for you.
I'm realizing I have not enjoyed. The weather's nice, and I want to get out, and I want to enjoy things that are not inside of a building.
Love that.
So that's what I'm planning. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I believe that you will. You just set the intention.
Correct. And it may happen today.
As Jan's shirt says, be forever wandering, but not lost.
Till next time.
See you next week.